Welcome back, Mr. Witness. I hope you had a good lunch.
Not yet.
Yes. Don't worry, lunch is on its way. And thank you for coming back. May I remind you again, as a matter of routine, that you are still under oath for continuation of your testimonies. Madam Chair.
We are happy to have you back. Council?
Thank you. After Mr. Sanya.
Afternoon.
I believe you have some files with you. I refer you to the of Have you found the file?
Yes.
Okay. So this is in respect of a market infrastructure project. Is that right?
Yes.
Now the council has written to you on the 14th of December 2021, and they said that the council is writing to request permission to initiate an open tender process for Serekunda market expansion as soon as possible on a build, operate, transfer model. We will be providing a recommended design and bill of quantities to encourage the widest engagement and therefore the most competitive process, but will be open to alternative designs. As most construction companies do not have experience in revenue collection, we also intend to make it clear that the company bidding has the option of subcontracting the revenue generating activities. Again, the objective in doing so is to encourage the widest engagement of the private sector with the process. The documents, design set, and bill of quantities. Now, is it usual to, in the procurement documents or in the bidding documents, to inform the, how do you call them? The bidders.
The bidders.
To inform the bidders that they can subcontract a separate entity, well, a separate procurement entirely, because they're saying that they want a market infrastructure project, and because the construction companies do not have experience in revenue collection, they will tell the bidders that they can subcontract that aspect of the contract. Would it not be, of the procurement, would it not be more feasible to split the procurement and have the revenue collection aspect?
Is acceptable.
This is acceptable?
Yes.
Okay.
If I may get your question, you are putting the question to him whether it was not appropriate for them to have divided the procurement, to split the procurement, to have the construction part and the revenue collection part.
So I was asking whether it's acceptable to do it this way. They didn't split it.
Yes.
They gave the bidders an option to subcontract the revenue generation portion to somebody else. So I was asking whether that is acceptable, and if it's not more feasible to break it, to separate it, and have the revenue generation separate from the construction aspect. Yes, yes. And he said this is acceptable as it is.
Yes, I think why council is asking you the question is to avoid a situation where the procedures and rules are made cumbersome and difficult. So if you split the tender, you could have clarity and preciseness and conciseness in the the grant of the award to any of the successful bidders.
I
think the reason why she's asking that question, would it not have been better if they had split the tender? One aspect will deal with construction, the other one will deal with revenue collection management.
I think that is what the question, but then question that she asked was whether it is acceptable, and the answer is yes. But then, like you said, there's a good suggestion that it would have been better if this is splitted under the various into lots, and various lots be bidded, can be bidded by various contractors. That's also a good suggestion.
All right, you can proceed.
Thank you. So I refer you to, oh sorry.
Mr. Sanya,
Yes.
did you actually know what you were approving? Was that letter enough to make a description of the project?
I think we know what we
Did you have the project proposal, the design, the specifications? You had all those things because it's construction, you know.
It's a construction, but most of the documents, including the BOQ, the designs are all attached.
They were all attached to.
Yes, they are all here.
All right, that's fine.
They
then.
are all part of the submission.
All right, thank you. Good.
Mr. Sanya, I refer you to the Kanifing Municipal Council Contracts Committee meeting of 2nd November 2021. The agenda item number 4 is the tendering of Mbari Dembo Sonko at Serekunda Market.
Good afternoon, DG. Welcome back for afternoon proceedings. For us to continue with you, may I remind you that you are still under oath. Madam Chair, over to you for continuation of the proceedings.
Have you seen the minutes?
Yes. The one I have here is, yes, 2nd November.
2nd November?
Yes.
And so I'm referring you to agenda item 4, which is, well, it's showing agenda item 3 inside the minutes, but on the heading it's saying agenda item 4. So agenda item 3, which is the tender process of Mbari Pa Dembo Serekunda Market. And they're saying that the Director of Planning on this issue informed members that Council also wants to tender for the construction of the underutilized shed in the Serekunda Market, as Council is gaining a little financial benefit from. Therefore, the area is intended to be turned to a well-constructed, solid structure geared towards the expanding the market and meeting the high demand of canteens in Serekunda Market. The design is expected to provide 89 canteens, offices, and sanitary space. The Deputy CEO asked for the Director of Planning to engage the market manager in the process to have his view and input in the development. A member added that 99.9% is unutilized. Only 2 or 3 meat sellers are there, so getting this done would be of more value to the Council. The Director of Planning said during the tendering they will be sharing the design and request a cost breakdown for the model. Deputy CEO opined for them to leave the estimate as it is, then when the bidders come with their costs, then they can consider the market price at that time as well. Is that the recommended procedure, to wait until the bidders have come with their costs before they consider the market price?
No, it's not a good procedure.
So what would be the good procedure?
The good procedure should have been having a BOQ which will clearly define the scope of work and the price. And based on that, they have a confidential estimate that the
Sorry, they have a what estimate?
Confidential estimate, confidential cost sort of, that will not be revealed to the bidders.
And usually, would it not be that it is based on that confidential cost that they can even have an idea of how much to budget for the project?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Mr. Sanyang, is it not at this point that they could have done research to get all the relevant information as to the possible market cost, as to the possible cost?
To me, given the documents that are submitted, the design and so on, I don't think at this point it is true that they don't even know what the cost is. Given the documents that are presented, including even the BOQ, a draft BOQ, an uncosted BOQ, I cannot understand why they are indicating that they don't even have the idea of how much the project costs.
So when you say that, what do you mean?
I mean, at this juncture, they should have an idea of how the project costs.
Okay. Yes, Council.
Thank you. So the expert said the estimate has to be very realistic and controlled so that when the bidders come with their prices during evaluation, the process can be dealt with amicably. The Director of Planning said all required documents will be completed for the preparation of the bidding process and will be reviewed by the Deputy CEO, Procurement Manager, Deputy Director of Finance, and herself as requested prior to the tender. Members resolved that the estimation be reviewed on current market price and have the contingencies price be captured as well. So that was it in the minutes in respect of that procurement. Now, it's clear they didn't indicate the method of procurement.
According to them, they're going to use open tender.
Oh, sorry. Where's that? Okay, want to tender?
Yes, in the letter that was read before. I think you read a letter where the procurement method was indicated.
You're right. Okay. And your institution wrote back on the 17th December 2021. And can you tell us what your response was?
Reference market infrastructure project. We refer to your letter reference BFB 119/128/01 dated 14th December 2021 relative to the above caption matter. Following careful review of your submission of the above mentioned and the related attachments, please be informed that approval cannot be granted at this stage. You are therefore obliged to provide the following. 1. Signed copy of GPPA Form 012, and that is the declaration made by the members of the Contracts Committee by each member. 2. Signed minutes of the Contracts Committee meeting on the agreed course of action. 3. Bidding document, /NO terms of reference. 4. GPPA Form 001. 5. National Requisition 100. And 6. A feasibility study report.
Sorry, go ahead.
The authority also advises that due to the nature of this project, the Council needs to ensure that the public-private partnership arm of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs is involved. We thank you for your understanding and cooperation.
Now, do you know whether the documents requested were provided?
I don't know.
And do you know whether the project went ahead at all?
I don't know.
This is the second market infrastructure project that we have looked at for KMC.
I have taken note and I will find out.
Please do.
And get back to you probably on the Monday sitting.
Okay. So, Chairperson, I don't know whether you have any questions before we finish with that file.
Yeah, can you tell us something about the tender process for furnishing of the new building at KMC? Are the tender documents provided for in the file? And what was the process?
I think this is in a different file. That is yet to be.
Okay.
We are yet to come to that.
But this is captured in the minutes of the meeting of the 2nd of November 2021.
Sometimes meetings will be held with different agendas and are all captured on the same minutes, but then the minutes will be put in the various files. I'm not sure whether that is what happened.
Can you help us find out whether the tender process, what was the tender process for furnishing of the new building, whether the documents were submitted and what process was followed? And
it's in the file we're dealing with next.
I have a file here with
all right.
furniture.
Council has just informed us that there is another subsequent file where you have those documents.
Oh.
Thank you. I think that is.
Okay, so we're done with the file 1 of 2020. Can we go to the KMC 1 of 2022? And I'll refer you to the requisition form.
Pardon? The
requisition form, Form 100. Let me know if you require assistance.
Should be able to see it because yes, requisition form 100.
Okay. So this is dated the 7th of February 2022.
Yes.
And they didn't, in the row where it says please procure the following check as necessary: goods, work, services. They didn't specify which one.
Yes.
But under the item description they stated office furniture.
Correct.
And they gave an estimated total cost of $6 million.
Yes.
They have not indicated whether the procurement request is part of the annual procurement plan.
Yes.
You were going to confirm whether they provided an annual procurement plan for 2021, 2022.
Yes, I was going to confirm that, but I think I said here just before break that we close here very late, and then I have taken note of all the questions, and then.
Yes, but you're not going to confirm it by yourself, no? You're going to speak to staff at your office?
At the office, yes. But as you can see, when we close, by the time we close here, the office is already closed since on Monday.
Mr. Tanya, you usually tell us that you check something during the break. You make a phone call to the office during the break.
Yes, some of them I make phone calls, but this time around I don't, because...
Can you ensure that you follow up on this? Extended from 2018 to 2023, please.
The plan for two.
And if they provided annual procurement plans for 2018, 2019, 20, 21, 23, 22, 23.
So 2018 to
2023. During a previous sitting, we had had a conversation about the sequence of signing the Form 100.
Yes.
And you had said that you believe it is the CEO, who's the accounting officer, should first give approval to proceed with the procurement before the user department and the budget officer signs. I believe
Actually, sometimes this is just like chicken and egg puzzle.
Chicken and who?
Chicken egg puzzle. Which one comes first? So, but I believe of course, the CEO should give the green light for the procurement to proceed before the process takes effect.
Yeah, so I think that's what you had said previously, and I had said that I had a different opinion, but there was no fixed one. So here you have Yahya Jammeh, who's signing as accounting officer, and he signed on the 7th of February 2022.
Yes.
Then you have Nima Kamara, the DOP, who signed on the 7th of January 2022. And you have Sheriff Njai, the DOF, who signed on the 7th of January 2022.
Correct.
So in this case, it's clear the CEO signed last, approving. Or whether the accounting officer, who's the DCO.
I think all of them signed on the 7th.
The first two are January. The last one is February.
Okay, yes.
And the January is even spelled out, so it's not numbers.
Okay, January.
So would that have any implication?
It won't have any implication.
Okay. So I refer you to the GPPA Form 001, Record of Open Tendering.
Okay.
Excuse me. So where it has stated the estimated value of the procurement, they said 5,500,000. Even though in Form 100 they had said 6 million. Is the discrepancy an issue?
They are all estimates. I don't think so.
Okay. So where it says, will the procurement be subjected to international competitive tendering, they have said no. And where it says, will the procurement be subject to a pre-qualification procedure, they have said no. Please confirm that the tender document has been prepared using standard bidding documents, they've said yes. Now they haven't indicated under the portion right underneath that table, they haven't indicated any further action. Is there any implication for that? Right on top of the signature of the chairperson.
Any other decision? Actually, they are supposed to tick one when appropriate. And you have 3 boxes: approve for further actions, provide or forward to GPPA. They should have checked one of the boxes, but not checked. But I don't think there will be
any negative implications.
Any negative implications for not ticking any of the boxes.
Okay.
If the threshold is more than what is provided for?
If the threshold is more than?
Because the place they have omitted to tick is asking you, because I don't think that they have put all these things just because they want the paper to look fanciful. They put this thing because there is a reason why these boxes are there and why they are supposed to be ticked. Because the first one is approved for further action, GPPA, is it section 49B, procurement less than 1 million? forwarded to GPPA for approval prior to inviting tenders, GPPA section 12.2. So these are all issues that have implication on the process. So you are telling us that it doesn't matter?
Now, if we look at the first one, approve for further actions.
Yes.
And that is GPPA 49B, procurement less than $1 million. But this procurement is more than $1 million.
Yes, so you go to the next one.
The next one is forward to GPPA for approval, for prior approval, for procurements.
To inviting tenders.
Yes, to inviting tenders.
Yes. Is that not significant?
That is just to say that these particular transactions should now be forwarded to GPPA for actions, which of course is very important. But remember that they also have minutes, and if I could remember in the minutes, it is indicated that they met, discussed, and the committee agreed that they can now forward, the procurement officer is now tasked to prepare something to be sent to the authority. So what I am saying is, it's important that this box is ticked. That I agree. But what I am also saying is, doesn't have any negative implication whether this portion is ticked or not and forwarded to GPPA. Hopefully, probably when there are legal issues, legal minds can, of course, interpret. But for us as laymen, we...
Well, my constraint is just the fact that you have forms and you have set out criteria and you have designed the form in relation to your act and your regulation. So I don't think it will be prudent for you to sit here and say it doesn't matter whether you tick it or not, it does not have consequence. The reason why you are given the form and you are mandated to fill it is because there are reasons and there are consequences of you failing not to fill that particular form.
I agree that it is important that this person be ticked.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
So I believe that your evidence should be whatever is contained in the form, information is supposed to be given to that effect as to where they stand on that process. That what will make the reader understand whether due process is followed or not. Yes, Mr. Jete.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to agree with my director that, partially with you too, that whatever is in the form is important, but not whatever in the form is mandatory. And your question might now be, is this mandatory or not? Well, like the director says, the form is for completeness sake, you know, but filling some of the gaps or the points or not will not necessarily impact the procurement process negatively.
Well, if we could refer back to the evidence when we were dealing with the compliance review, there was so much stress. There was so much stress made on adherence in filling the forms. Was that not the case?
Certainly.
I said during the review of the compliance review reports that we had, there was so much reference being made to the fact that the POs were not complying with filling the forms.
Certainly.
Yes. So if it were not necessary, why should the compliance review highlight and really stress on the fact that these forms were not filled?
No, it is necessary. I'm not saying at all, no, and I'm not suggesting that it is not necessary. It is very necessary, and it's part of the procurement proceedings, absolutely. But all that we are saying is, not filling this particular portion will not affect the procurement cycle for this particular procurement negatively. But of course, everything on the forms are important and are necessary.
Yes, Council, you can proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Sanya, I refer you to the Canifing Municipal Council Contract Committee meeting dated the 20th of January 2022. Let me know if you need help.
Start February. Okay, 20th of January.
2022.
Yeah, 2022.
Let me refer you to page 2. Sorry, before that, the people present are said to be Kajali Jammeh as chairperson, Abdullah S.M. Kebe, Bintu Jane Jalo, Sheriff Njai, Nima Kamara, Abdullah Jane, and Usman Gay. And furnishing of the town hall is provided for in agenda item 3. And they have said that the chairman reminded members of the list of items or equipment that was provided in the previous meeting, and the committee's reaction that they needed to see specifications of the items. This was done by DOP and procurement manager. The committee agreed that the procurement office bring to the attention of the committee quotes for budgetary purposes. Members also agreed that the items, equipment to be put in lots for the tender to proceed accordingly. So it's clear that they had brought up the issue of getting estimates so that they could have a budget for the furnishing, right? Okay. I refer you to the meeting minutes of 27th of January 2021. Sorry, 2022.
'24th or 27th?
27 January.
Sorry.
Assistant Registrar. minutes were hiding. Have you seen the ones for 27th January?
Yes, 27th of January.
Okay, so the persons present are Kajali Jane as chairperson, Abdullah S.M. Kebe, Bintu Jane Jalo, Bakari Diba, Nyuma Kamara, Abdullah Jane Musaba, and Usman Gay. And the furnishing of the town hall is under agenda 3 again, which is on page 2. And they have said that the procurement manager submitted quotation of the furniture and air conditioners as assigned in the previous meeting. The finance manager told members that originally the budgeted amount was $5 million, but it was reduced after the bilateral with the ministry that caused council's budget to be revised due to the government not able to pay the 25% subvention to councils. As a result, the budget was reduced to $3.5 million. However, raised concerns on the amount given that the town hall is a massive complex and the budgeted amount was not going to be sufficient to equip the building. Following lengthy deliberations, members recommended that management decide what the priority will be. Thereafter, the committee can reconvene and decide on the tender. It was also agreed that the procurement be put in 3 lots. That is, Lot 1, furniture; Lot 2, air conditioners; and Lot 3, furnishing of the chambers with cladding, audio and video conferencing facilities and lighting systems. The DOP said the top floor needs to be put in a lot of its own as it will host a cafeteria. Members agreed to this idea. Members also agreed to convene another meeting immediately after the management convenes a meeting and decide on what lots to work on depending on the amount available. Now, what is the position of the law, the procurement law, on dividing procurement into lots? Can you tell us?
It is acceptable provided that the division is not regarded as splitting, which is frowned over by the procurement law. And splitting here may mean deliberately splitting procurements into the smaller portions to deliberately avoid the monetary threshold. So depending on the nature, division into lots is acceptable, but if it is done deliberately to avoid monetary thresholds, it is not acceptable.
Okay. So again, I refer you to Contracts Committee meeting minutes, 3rd February 2022.
January 2022?
No, 3rd February 2022.
You could find it after the form 001.
After form 001.
Yes.
This is form 100.
Assistant Registrar, perhaps just bring the file, let me look for it. Have you seen it?
Yes, 3rd February 2021.
Okay, so...
Sorry, 2022.
Yes. The people in attendance again are Kajari Jane, Abdullah S.M. Kebe, Bintu Jane Jalo, Bakari Diba, Nyima Kamara, Abdullah Jane Musabba, and Usman Gay. And the furnishing of the town hall is agenda item 2. They have said that the chairman informed members that a management meeting was convened to look into the budget and see how best funds can be available to furnish the KMC town hall. It was revealed that 3.5 million was tentatively budgeted for, but the amount was considered to be on the low side. At the meeting, certain budget lines were identified and a proposal was made to forward the identified budgets to the Finance Committee to also look at, revise accordingly before the budget is approved. This was communicated to the chair of the Finance Committee, who also convened a meeting to discuss the matter. At the meeting, the following votes and amounts were identified for revision in the council budget. The mayoral toll vote, 700,000. Religion and culture vote, 350,000. Women and children, 250,000. Youth, 200,000. Sports, 500,000. Members were informed that following the Finance Committee meeting, the votes were revised in this budget. Now, I'm not sure, but it looks like these were votes that funds were taken from, revised and taken from to add on to the budget for the furnishing of the town hall.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So it goes on to say, at this juncture, the chairman said, going by the revised budget, an amount of 5,500,000 will be available for the KMC Town Hall. For offices, Lot 2, furnishing of the council chamber, and Lot 3, air conditioners. The committee agreed that the procurement manager filled in the bidding documents and bring it back to the committee to revise before submission to GPPA. Right. Sorry, I'm trying to locate the letter.
It seems
Okay.
that the way the documents are filed,
Yes.
they are not filed in order. And
Yes.
you could see a letter for January filed at the beginning of the file. And
But,
it is making
I've
it
located
very
it.
difficult to follow the trend of activity
Yes.
in the files.
Yes.
February.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they have said, we hereby enclose a copy of the bid documents for the furnishing of the newly constructed KMC Town Hall, which I have the honor to submit to your office. The bid is in 3 lots: furniture, air conditioner, and council chamber furnishing. We further appealed for the bid period to be shortened to 7 days, since most of the items may be available in country. Now, can you tell us about the 7 days shortened period?
That's too low because the minimum is 14 days.
So 7 days is not acceptable?
No.
You answer in the mic, because if you shake your head, we would not be able to note what your answer is.
The minimum period to shorten the bidding period is 14 days.
And I said 7 days is not acceptable?
It's too low, yes.
Okay. So I refer you to your letter. Have you found it?
Submission of bids. Reference is drawn to your letter. Reference above caption. Having reviewed your submission, the authority hereby grant approval for your bidding document and your intended procurement method, that is open tender, for the supply of furniture and equipment, for any further technical assistance, in matters relating to public procurement whenever it is needed.
So your institution has approved the bidding documents and the intended procurement method, but there's nothing in the letter saying that approval was granted.
Been approval for the bidding document to be short, bidding period to be shortened.
Okay, so what's the implication of that? The fact that you haven't put it in your letter?
They should have made clarifications from the authority to see whether approval is also given for the bidding document to be shortened.
So approved the shortening of the period?
In most cases, when a request is made for the bidding document to be shortened, it is always, if approval is given, indicated in.
Yeah. Considering that you have approved the documents and the method, do you think that perhaps the PO just assumed that you also approved the shortening of the period?
The PO may assume the government officer should know that bidding period should not be shortened to less than 14 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Has to be approved, just like I don't know what they want to do without getting without getting approval from the authority.
Okay.
I believe that be possible. Would there not be possibility for the PO to assume that authority approval is granted to do, and you omit stating whether you grant approval or not? And if in a situation where they assume that approval is granted and they went ahead and did their procurement, can you legitimately? And
stops there, then yes, they can assume that. But the letter did not do that. The letter specified what approval is granted. For. So it did. There's no reference to.
So you are saying that in essence, the PO should not assume.
Absolutely
when,
not.
Express authorization.
In our approval, we should have indicated whether it's approved or not, if it is requested.
But this is the context in which council is asking you, because if they had requested, it is no fault of theirs that you did not mention whether you have granted approval or not.
With
and to hold them responsible, would be like.
Mr. Sanya, I refer you to the Contracts Committee meeting dated the 24th February 2022.
Yes, 24th February 2020.
Kajali Jane as chairperson, Abdullah S.M. Kebe, Binta Jane Jalo, Nyima Kamara, Abdullah Jane, Musa Abba, Musa Sane, Usman Gay. Says the chairman welcomed members and stated that as per the rules, the bids should be opened by the stated time, which is 12 noon. Members introduced themselves and the persons representing bidders were also introduced. Prior to the opening, it was confirmed that 8 bids were received on time, while another supplier, Corporate Asset Solutions, submitted later, hence was rejected. The GPPA representative said the lots have to be classified according to lots, and the companies that bidded for which lots has to be specified. Following the separation, it was confirmed that lot 1 bid price was $7,685,000 is $575, and the bid security was lot 1 $7,945,500, and the bid security was $240,000. Tabi's quality, lot 1, the bid amount was $702,500, and the bid security was $141,000, and lot 1, and the bid amount $4,970,500, and the bid security $149,000. Lot 1, $5,666,000, and the bid security was $169,980. Adonis Suppliers, lot and $15. Then lot 2, which was for the air conditioner, you had 2net who bidded for lot 2. $1,408,725, and the bid security was $270,500. Bid security $35,645. Lobsan Enterprise bid amount $1,518,500. Bid security $60,000. Invoice is $970,000. And the bid security asked the bidders or their reps whether they had any questions to ask. He stated that the evaluation would be done justly and they will definitely put into consideration the quality aspect. For the air conditioners, he dilated on maintenance that spare parts will be readily available. I think they meant would not be. The chairman thanked the bidders and assured bidders of the committee's resolve to do a fair and just evaluation. His observation was that the specifications were not clear and detailed. Also, the time frame was short, and that may have played a part in resulting in companies dodging away from Lot 3. Now, it says the expert in response thanked Sonko Jileng rep for his comments. He said they were hoping that once companies see the ads, they will come and seek for clarifications so that they will be clear enough to avoid these issues.
Now, in the bidding document, there is a portion where a box is provided to be ticked if clarification can be sought. It is provided for that.
No, Mr. Sanya, I think you misconstrued the question Council is asking. It's saying that whether the details in the bidding documents should not be clear enough to avoid you to answer.
So I know that there's provisions for clarification, but I'm saying, do the documents not have to be so clear that in this, but where here one of them is saying that this is probably why nobody bid for this lot, that the documents were not clear enough. Attempt.
Yes, bidding documents should be very clear.
Okay. He, however, assured him that the comments are well noted and they will be factored in future tenders. The GPPA rep asked the bidders whether they are okay with the process. All of them said they were satisfied with the process. On Lot 3, he said the committee needs to check why suppliers failed to bid for it. Knowing the facts will help go for an RFQ, and the members agreed to meet on another date, and the meeting was adjourned. Now, sorry. Yes, more, but it's a lot, so it can probably wait till the next sitting date.
You cannot finish this by 5.
Yes.
Yes. So we reconvene on Monday. Sorry, I always keep forgetting that Friday is House Day. Thank you.